Good morning and welcome again to Summit. It's Monday, the beginning of the week, and it's good to be with you. This is our first edition for the week. My name is Jumoke Michaels. Today is the International Women's Day, and all media outlets this morning have been celebrating women. And will not be left out on Summit this morning. So today's edition is dedicated to celebrating women all over the world. And the theme of the year 2021 International Women's Day is Choose to Challenge. Women in leadership, achieving an equal future in a COVID-19 world. And International Women's Day is always celebrated on the 8th of March, and it's a global day to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. So this morning I join women all over the world to say Happy International Women's Day. And today on the program, of course, I've already said it, that it's dedicated to women. And that's why Banji decided to leave me to do all the work this morning. So I'm here on the program today with just women, but Banji is behind the scenes and he's working. So I'll be handling the program with our guests this morning. And it's a privilege to have two strong and great women on the program today. Let me quickly introduce Mrs. Tinu Odubemi, please pardon me, Mrs. Tinu Odubemi. She's the founder and, she corrected me, founder and executive director, Head High International Organization, and she's the former chairperson, NAWOJ. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good to be with you.
Good to
Happy
be here
Women's
today.
Day.
Happy Women's Day. Thank you.
All right, and I also have, she's our mommy, and she's a friend of the house, Princess Folashade Olabanji Oba. She's the National Deputy Chairman, Association of Local Government Vice Chairman of Nigeria, and she's also the Vice Chairman, Ikorodu Local Government, Lagos State. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you for
Happy
having me.
Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day.
You're welcome. All right, so you see that we are aptly represented on the program this morning because Mrs. Odubemi is a rights activist, while she, Mrs. Olabanji Oba, is a politician. So and I am a journalist. So we are just there today. All right, so let's start with the theme of this year's International Women's Day celebration. What is this theme of equality really saying?
Let's take the two together.
All right.
The first one says, choose to challenge. Choose to challenge what? And so when we first look at what are we challenging, what are the areas, that shows you already there is an imbalance. When you want to challenge something, it means something is not right. It means something is out of place. And that is exactly what we're looking at. And then we're looking at equality, especially in the areas of leadership and in this COVID-19 era. And what does that mean to us? COVID-19 has exposed a lot of imbalances in leadership right from the home. Like we discussed some time back during the lockdown period, we discovered that a lot of women have suffered imbalance at home, in leadership, in holding their rights down. COVID-19 exposed a lot of cases of violence at home, where women aren't working, or where women's rights aren't recognized, where the men just like sit down there, don't challenge me, and the woman will take that simply because she does not have the financial, emotional capability, or she herself is off balance or out of balance. And that is why this thing is just right for us to look at out as it is. And that's when we talk about equality. It might not be equality across the board, but at least we're talking about fairness up to a point.
All right, because that would have been my next question, that we continue to talk about gender inequality. But when you think deeply on it, it looks like women are struggling power, position, and all that with the male gender. Is it possible for us to overlook such things and create a balance when we talk about gender equality?
Well, I want to take a different stand. For me, the theme, choosing to challenge, challenging the stigmatization, the stereotyping, really confronting all the fears that has held us bound, that has not made us to be on the same, you talk about balance, yeah, because we are being relegated. In so many areas, we met it like that. It's changing now. It's not where we used to be, like I say. We're not where we need to be either, but we're on our way there. Some of us, the cultural bias, the systems that we have in our different communities. Like I also talk about patriarchy, okay? So all those things are where it got us to where we are. But also, I want to come at it from a heart of gratitude, yeah? That the process, it's all a process. For where we are, let's celebrate, okay? And we already have a set goals, like the Beijing was like 35%. We missed that. I don't think we have achieved that yet. So many decades after, we should really be at 50% by now. But we haven't. But I still think that the awareness, the sensitization, okay, the awakening, I want to use that word, it's really what today is all about. And so it's a good one. And hopefully by this time next year, we'll have so much more to celebrate.
Yeah. All right, so I have these statistics here.
Sorry, but let me just add something. I would like to say that over the years, I was in Beijing, and incidentally, that's at the Beijing conference. Last year, beginning from 2019, the United Nations Women set up, some of us who went to Beijing, matched us with some upcoming young women to mentor, and we had the graduation ceremony last year. And if we keep saying we are thanking God for where we are, but again, a day like this brings us to look at how far are we going to continue to just sit down and make little progress. It's better than being static. But what can we do to spur ourselves to actually say we've gone beyond this? We signed this, our government signed so many agreements. You have CEDAW, Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women. You have so many equality policies that we have appended the signature of the nation to. But things are still not right. That's the challenge that we have. And that is why in this COVID-19 era, there is need for us to move ahead. We really saw a lot of inadequacies in what we have on ground. Even when you look at all sectors, yes, thank God for media, like the media. We can actually thank God for our women here. We've done a lot of progress, and that is because they broached out of the traditional systems. A lot of our women who are doing well are in either academia or they are setting up their own structures where they are now employers of labor and bosses, and they can actually take decisions to do other things. And thank God they're employing other women. That is very good. But in other sectors, we still have to contend, even from the home, we still have to contend with the patriarchal structures on ground. We still have to contend with this issue of the girl child versus the male child. And for me, after going to Beijing and coming back and seeing the statistics that we saw in those days, there's little difference. And for us to say we should just take it like that, I'm not very happy about that. We need to push it more.
All right, now let me just say that there's still the worldwide statistics that reveal that only 24.9% of national parliamentarians are women. and that the current rate of progress and gender equality among heads of government, as regarding women, will still take another 130 years, which for me is a bit frightening.
Not
That
in
for
our
women
time. That's
now,
what we're
yeah, that for women to still meet up to that level we expect to see, statistics says it will still take another 130 years. Now, I know that some of the challenges we have are cultural and socio-economic. These are the barriers that women continue to confront every time. Now you are in politics. How can women be at the forefront of these diverse and inclusive movements for social change? Because these challenges are there. But
Action.
what we want, action. What
Be
should
involved.
we be doing?
Get involved. You can't give what you don't have. A lot of us still feel limited. We don't want to participate. We don't want to get our hands dirty. We think, oh, politicians are dirty. No, no, no. Politics is not dirty. It's your perspective, your perceptions. Life is all about perceptions. So if you don't want to take charge, if you don't want to get involved, then you keep complaining. No pain, no gain. Yeah? Nobody says it's going to be easy. But you know what? Being prepared, seeing the bigger picture, knowing the reason why you're there, okay? It's a bigger incentive for you to say, okay, I volunteer, but you know what? We all cannot be in politics.
Yeah.
But in any field that you are in, make up your mind to be the best, yeah? Make up your mind to be a role model. Be resolute that definitely, I mean, when you talk about politics, it has been bastardized. And everybody looks at this big old world, you know. But what's the meaning? To me, it's meaning relevance. Wherever you are, let them know that you're there. Be a light in the dark, okay? And igniting somebody else's light does not turn off yours. Most times we tend to see ourselves, women, as being our problems. You have the cooling down syndrome, all the bad words they say that we women, we use really against one another. But if you really see each other as sisters, helping one another, she talked about being a mentor to another woman or another sister or another girl child, whether you birth the person or not. See them as your responsibility, okay? Passing on, like, we are not all going to be here forever. You talked about 130 years, my heart skipped, okay, for us to catch up. So, but you know what? One step at a time, we're getting closer. And raising more foot soldiers, educating, sensitizing, letting them know the power in the numbers, that the more that are in there, the better it's going to be. When the policies are there. Actually now, they're more gender friendly, but daring to be outstanding, daring to really take charge is what a lot of us don't have.
All right, so
Right
she said that the policies are there,
Yes,
but the challenge is having women cash in
on it.
to those policies. Do you agree with that?
Well, I agree, just like I said, up to a point.
Like
that
even
we
our
have signed-
husbands that do not even want us to go like into
yes.
politics and things like that.
Yes, and why won't they want us to go into politics? I might not be in active politics, but I believe you can do the
Or
behind.
even in businesses. There are some kind of businesses your husband might say, I don't want you to do this. But you have a passion, a drive for it.
Well, that's the same thing we tell women. Before you get into any relationship, any marriage, be sure you are going into the right one. Be sure the person is as passionate as you are in whatever you want to go into. Be sure that the two of you can actually live together for several years. You know, based on your interests, your differences, can you carry them together in that relationship, in that marriage? It's the same thing you decide when you want to going for a job. You consider your future in that organization you want to go into. For how long can I stay in this organization? Will this organization enable me to bring out the best in me? Now, you introduced me as the chairperson, a former chairperson of Nigeria Association of Women Journalists. That was something I contested for. It wasn't something I was given. It was a keen contest. And I contested against somebody working with the Nigerian Television Authority at that time. And it became a full-blown war. Yes, it became a print industry versus the broadcast. And if you know what that means, broadcast has more female journalists. The broadcast has more visibility. It got to a point that my opponent was given a chance to campaign on NTA, a broadcast. And that's, if you look at it, more people saw that than what we were doing. But I did what you could call going from person to person. So let's digress. Now let's go back to what I'm saying. Once you decide to do something, you put all your might behind it. Throw yourself into it. Now you also have to challenge the stereotypes. That's something that is tying us down. Why would your husband not want you to go into a particular industry? Sit down and talk about it. If some would say media in those days, you can't be a secretary to a man. I don't want you to work there. You're going to be a PA to a man. I'm not sure I want something like that. That's going to be too tough for us to handle. You won't get home on time. You're going to be too close to him. So many things. You need to know who you are getting married to. There'll be the signs before you marry yourselves. Apart from that, again, there are, like the media, you used to have this stereotype about media women. Oh, they are all over the place. Now you have about bank. Women who go on, what do you call it? Marketing in the banks, you have about them. So you need to convince whoever you're getting married to before marriage that I'm going to throw everything in this.
All right, now let's look at the Buhari's female appointees in government right now. How would you rate their performance? Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah. Not enough, obviously. But that's what I'm saying, that anywhere you have a woman, you got women working diligently, really, from the heart. So you can't get enough of them. If you look all over the world now, where you have the females heading as presidents or whatever, during this COVID-19, those countries fared much better, okay? I don't know why, but I want to say it's because the women from the heart go, to the source, the needs and everything. Maybe it's in our nature to be natural nurturers, okay? And so, but this government, I told you, the policies are there, to encourage women, but you can't give what you don't have. If a lot of us are not more in those spaces, when it's time for them to choose, then we don't have enough to even choose from, okay? So, kudos to the people that are doing the work, but I think more is needed. More needs to come on board. And we have a really, really beautiful world. I want to call it, because, women tend to color our world more beautifully.
All right, so we have some practical examples of a woman like Kamala Harris, who is presently the Vice President of the United States. We have Okonjo-Iweala, who is now the President of the World Trade Organization. We have our own United Nations Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohammed. Now, these are women who have pushed their career to the topmost top.
Yes.
I'd like to call it topmost top. And they are like role models. But would you think that presently we have a dearth of role models for women and issues of accessibility to funds, opportunities? Are these some of the challenges that women are being confronted with now?
Well, I would say that we don't have a shortage of women role models. We don't at all. Today's woman, let's take it for instance, let's take today's average mother is educated. She's educated. She probably would have held a job of her own, or she's running a business of her own. And if maybe migrating from one job to her own business, or even if she launched into business first. So for our girls, our young girls, they have enough role models right from the home. Well, maybe some places the women are not educated, but they want their children to be educated. We find the average woman wants her daughter to go to school and also be like Okonjo-Iweala, you and I. So don't let us think that we are not role models too. So you have that. Now we don't have shortage in that respect, but we might not have enough access to the top, the very, very top in our own nation right now. And by that, let's look at politics, governments. How many female governors have we had?
Only deputies.
Now the deputies, how?
Maybe it should be the next.
Okay, fine. Looking forward to that. Now, deputy, how many female deputy governors have we had? And in what parts of the country? Southwest has done very well to an extent. When you look at that, at least we've had in Oyo, we have in Lagos, in Ogun. So you can see in Osun too. We've had in Osun. Yes, that's good. What about so many other industries? In government, we have not had enough. In banking, we've done quite well. And what does that mean? Where you have to depend on the women proving their mettle, you find them doing well. But where it has to be by nomination or elections, it hasn't been easy. So what does that say about our system? It still means that the male attitude of not permitting women to get to certain positions is still prevailing in those sectors.
Do you agree with that?
Well, to some extent.
Because
to some extent, but
everything about democracy is election.
Yeah,
So,
it's all. And I want to say that it takes more than just being a woman for being elected. Okay, you talked about the financials, the security. Okay, it just takes a lot. Now, for me, I'm still going to go back to the numbers game. We need to populate the space more. Most times we talk about us singing and clapping, being the ones that vote on election day, but actually taking up the challenge and standing to defend and say, I'm ready to serve. You don't have a lot of us wanting to do that. Obviously, when they're gonna do the elections, if in the hall you have more men, it's definitely gonna go in that direction. Okay, so I think the more of us, and I'm really serious, that are being encouraged to come on board, things will change, the narratives will change, and it will definitely change for the better. And the nation at large really will be better for it. You can't say, just because you're a woman, a pretty face, whatever, it's merit, okay? That's gonna earn you that, and with the election, and to be honest, because you're a woman, most times you have to do more.
Oh, definitely.
Times 2, 3, 4,
Definitely.
before you are even heard, before you are even seen. Because that's when I talked about the stigmatization, stereotyping and all that. Because the first thing is a woman, okay? That already, okay, so you've got to really do extra to prove yourself that you can do it before you can be taken serious.
all right, from what you have said, the one word just jumped out at me, and that's consistency.
Yes.
That a woman has to be consistent to be able to attain
Yeah, you have to,
that position,
for you to
whatever
be able
position.
to showcase what you
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
And that's why I said some industries have allowed women to showcase the best in them. It's so easy when you are in particular industries, like in the media. If you are good, you are good.
Yeah.
You write well, you are able to access some stories, you're good. In banking, you're good, you're good. In politics, you are good, but you also need some backup. And that backup, how many men are willing to invest in women?
That's what she said, that you must work 2 times, 3 times.
Even with those
more
who work
than-
4 times, 5 times, the system still does not actually permit. And that is why it is where you are appointed that you find people making it. And that's why you find some women ready to back up even men who have maybe chances of succeeding.
More women are actually scared of elections, actually. It's not that. I mean, I have a lot of my friends that will be like, for anything in the world, they don't want to go for an election because they think it's very dangerous, it's very risky, and they won't take the chance. So they'd rather work behind the scenes and just wait on somebody giving them appointment. But either way, you've got to do what you've got to do if you truly believe you want to make a difference. Life is about sacrifice. Some people paid that sacrifice for us to be where we are today. And definitely, we also must be able to
All right,
give
on
our
this,
own back.
okay. So on this issue of choose to challenge, I really want us to just do a summary and then a round up on that note. If I ask you, choose to challenge, what would you challenge now?
What would I challenge?
What would you challenge now?
I would challenge the age-old traditional barriers that are still there. As much as we're saying we have role models in the home for our daughters, give a woman a chance to sponsor either of 2 of her children, a son and a daughter, to school. She would most likely want to invest on the child,
On the son.
the male child, instead of the daughter. So that age-old traditional barrier is still there. The same thing affecting a lot of widows. They are denied the rights of their husbands, their own rights, and the proper right to property of their husbands, their husbands. They are denied rights of freedom. Some of them, the children are taken away from them, and the children are not well treated wherever they are taken to. They are like house girls and house boys where they are taken to. And so you find so many things. I would challenge that solidly. And I would also challenge violation of the rights of everybody, especially those of women. We are not respecting the rights in this country, so many rights, of fundamental human rights.
All right, so what would you challenge? What would you choose to challenge?
Probably so many things I want. But honestly, the stigmatization, female mutilation, okay, stereotyping, limitations, okay, like the equal opportunities and all that for women, but really, really standing tall, seeing female, male in not being an object or whatever, but as really who you are. So it's still like challenging the stereotyping.
All right, talking about stereotypes, there was something I was discussing just before we came into the studio with Banji, that gone are the days when women achieve, and you said they got whatever position, wealth, or properties by laying their back.
Okay.
You know, I told him I think that mindset is beginning to change. Am I right?
Yeah,
Yes.
to a large extent.
To a large extent, it's beginning to change. All right, so we agree on
And the
that.
patriarchy. And the
It's beginning
patriarchy.
to change. So when you see women who have achieved, it doesn't mean that they have laid on their back.
No.
It's not cash.
No.
Cash.
It's no longer in news.
Yeah, exactly. It's not longer in the news.
And
So
it's
women
not-
are achieving through hard work now.
Yes.
So we need to agree on that.
Yes, dedication to duty.
Duty.
And being able to prove that I can do this, and I'm being given, I would also challenge
It's a
being
privilege.
given the chance to do it.
Opportunity to serve.
That's that opportunity
to
for you
serve.
to be at that particular place where you can showcase what you have, really manifest the goodness in you to the world. But not until you give us a chance to get there. And I also need to challenge our women. Or we just keep talking to ourselves. We also need to challenge being able to talk to the men who are the ones who can influence the change process that we desire.
All right, so I think we should not finish the program today without giving a word of advice or encouragement to women out there. So just maybe two sentences. Start with you. Your start.
Choosing to raise the bars again, the value system, okay, in all that we do. Make sure you're the very best and raise somebody else around you. Help them along to be the very best as well. Citizenship Nigeria.
All right, ma'am.
I'll say that wherever you are, be the light. And also be your sister's keeper, as well as your brother's keeper too. And start from your home. Let your children know you've got their back anytime. You are able to build confidence into them and to support them in good things. Be a good example of the kind of Nigeria we all want to have. A good example of, hard work, commitment, integrity, all the good things we want to see in Nigeria. Charlie, we want us to see that. So let everybody to be that, and then we'll have the Nigeria we want.
Thank you so much for being a part of the program today. So I would like to say in my own words that we need to be women who encourage one another. So the task I'll give you today is that make sure you call one woman.
Yeah.
Just celebrate one woman. Just give her a call, appreciate her for something she has done or how she has impacted you. Just celebrate one woman today. That's another way to encourage one another. I've been speaking this morning in the studio with Mrs. Tinu Odubemi. She's the founder and chief executive of Head High International Organization, and she's the former chairperson of NAWOJ, and also Mrs. Princess Folashade Olabanji Oba. She's the National Deputy Chairman, Association of Local Government Vice Chairman of Nigeria, and also the Vice Chairman of Ikorodu Local Government Area. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Coming on the program. All right, so please enjoy the rest of the day celebrating women. I'll be leaving you with the last segment of the program today, showcasing Boundless Multi-Services Solutions Nigeria Limited.